Today we will be running the final starter Serperior through Generation 5. If you're unfamiliar with the rules, they're in the description, but I'll also place them here. So if you remember with Samurott and Embor, two level 1 moves they started with were Mega Horn and Hammer Arm. Well, Serperior doesn't have a good move like that, starting with Tackle, Leer, Vine Whip, and Wrap, and we don't get a level up move until level 13 in Growth, which in this generation boosts your attack and special attack. In terms of level up moves overall, we only learn normal and grass moves in terms of attacking moves. Not a whole lot of type diversity here, although Coil is a great move. If you're unfamiliar with this move, it boosts your attack, defense, and accuracy by 1 stage. Leaf Blade is going to be our bread and butter stab move when it comes to this playthrough, and I have to go over the TMs as to why. If you look at the list, you'll see that Serperior gets access to Swords Dance. It gets access to Calm Mind as well, so you could make this thing a physical or special attacker, but in this playthrough, I went with an Adamant Nature, boosting our attack and decreasing our special attack. In terms of attacking moves, anything that isn't a normal or grass move, we get Aerial Ace, Dragon Tail, and Rock Smash, so not a whole lot of type diversity here. I guess we could include Hidden Power on the list, since I am running perfect DVs and it will be Dark type. I'll wrap up this little intro by briefly going over Serperior stats. It's the most defensive and fastest of the 3 starters, but it lacks the physical and special attack of the other 2. I'm hoping in the late game that being fast and being able to set up with Swords Dance will give Serperior the edge it needs. Alright, with all that out of the way, let's get into it. On my way to Stralton City, I'm going to be picking up some optional battles because I have a level goal in mind. I'd like to reach level 13 and have growth before I take on the first gym leader. This is also going to include an early trip to the Dream Yard, and once I battle Youngster Joey here, yes, Youngster Joey returns, but he doesn't have his Rattatas anymore. Once I knock out his final Lillipup, I level up to 13 and can learn growth. And while I'm here, I'm going to pick up my free elemental monkey, Panpour in this case. Now I have my surfer. One thing about these games that I haven't covered, the first gym leader always has the elemental monkey strong against your starter, but this person gives you the elemental monkey that would be strong against theirs. I guess maybe it's Game Freak's way of trying to teach you about type matchups. I can make my way back to the gym and face the gym leader, which for this playthrough will be facing off against Chili and his Panseer. Just like his brothers, he leads with a level 12 Lillipup. I'm going to set up 2 growths. Vine Whip barely misses the one-shot, but since he's going to heal with a potion, I can set up 1 more growth. I can finish it on the next turn, and out comes his ace Panseer. At +3, Tackle is able to 2-shot this thing as he only goes for workup. I don't know if there's ever going to be a Pokemon that has to worry about the first gym leaders. Not being able to learn workup isn't the worst either, because at least we have growth on our moveset. We have the Dream Yard, the rival battle, and the Team Plasma stuff coming up, but let's just jump past all that and straight to Nacrene City. I can pick up the Miracle Seed from the girl in the house to the far left, which will boost the power of Vine Whip and the newly learned Leaf Tornado. I have a battle against N, he's not a challenge, and Lenora's gym trainers are not a challenge either. And I don't expect Serperior to struggle against the normal type specialist Lenora either. Because of Hertier's Intimidate, I'm gonna set up a growth as it hits me with Takedown. It does pretty pathetic damage though, considering, as Leaf Tornado nearly one-shots it. Since she's going to heal it with a super potion, I decide to get in 1 more growth, and my next Leaf Tornado one-shots it. Last is her ace, Watchog. Leaf Tornado nearly one-shots it as it puts me to sleep with Hypnosis. I'm only asleep for 1 turn though, as Watchog misses Retaliate, and I finish it off when I wake up. On my way to Pinwheel Forest, I'm gonna get the TM for Rock Smash. I don't use it throughout the playthrough at all, but in the early game, my thought process was having more type diversity, and at this point in the run, I was trying to think about what I was going to do for Berg. In 7 more levels, I'll learn Slam, which I think will be my best bet against his Pokemon. In the meantime, while I'm chasing down Team Plasma, I can battle against the Rangers and other optional trainers. I really want to stockpile these Chesto Berries though. They're going to have a huge use later on. I retrieve the stolen Dragon Skull, and before heading to Castelia City, I actually pick up the TM for Grass Knot here. After driving Team Plasma out of the city, I head to the fountain and fight this dancer. There's 3 of them in total, and they all each use one of the elemental monkeys. The second is located on the dock that is south of the gym. He uses Panseer. The last is in one of the alleys. He uses a Panpour. Once you defeat them all though, you can return to the fountain and talk to the first one and get the amulet coin. This is a first for picking up in these playthroughs, but Serperior learns a lot of TMs that are sold at Pokemon centers, so I'm gonna need a lot of money. I also pick up the TM for rest. Big reason I was stockpiling all of those Chesto berries, and I actually head to the desert on Route 4 to pick up some optional battles. I want to try and hit level 28 before facing Berg. It'll give me a better option over Tackle against his bug types, and it's definitely a better option than the Rock Smash TM I picked up earlier. By the time I enter Berg's gym, I'm level 27, and it's a little unfortunate that all of his trainers either have Sawaddles or Dwebbles, and unfortunately I haven't gotten access to any rare candies yet, although you can get a rare candy in Castelia City in Black 2 and White 2. Things work out for Serperior though, because against the very last trainer in Berg's gym, I level up to 28 and can learn Slam over Tackle. Hopefully a new move plus reaching a damage rounding threshold is enough to squash the bug type specialist. His lead is Whirlipede. I want to set up a growth before I go on the offensive. Slam does over 3/4 to it as its Poison Tail brings me under half. I should have set up another growth, but I go for Vine Whip as he heals. My next Slam takes it out though, and next is Dwebble. Leaf Tornado misses as it hits me with Struggle Bug, lowering my special attack. Because of this, my next Leaf Tornado doesn't get the one-shot. I'm better off using Vine Whip at this point, which nearly one-shots Dwebble. My next one finishes it, and last is his Ace Leavanny. Since Serperior outspeeds it, it's going to go for String Shot first as opposed to Struggle Bug, and 2 slams are enough to take it out. 3 first try victories at gym leaders for Serperior. It's performing much better than I expected it to at this point, and I know in the post game things are really gonna open up. It would be nice if Serperior could learn the TM that Berg gives you, Struggle Bug. I just want this thing to have more move diversity. On my way out of town, I have 2 back-to-back rival battles. Bianca, I crush her. But Charon you have to battle in a sandstorm, and his lead is P-Dove. Cause Slam can't get the one-shot, its Air Slash does nearly 1/3 of my HP. The weather takes it out, and he sends out Pignite next. Slam does Slam things, missing as it hits me with a Flame Charge. My next one can't knock it out as it hits me with another Flame Charge. With 2 Flame Charges under its belt and healing with a Citrus Berry, I thought this thing would outspeed me for sure. While I still have the speed advantage and knock it out, I don't have enough HP to deal with his 2 remaining Pokemon, and his next Pokemon, Pansage, is able to take me out, with some help from the weather too. The next battle is almost identical to the first. Slam doesn't knock out P-Dove as it hits me with Air Slash, but the weather doesn't take it out. Because of this, I squeeze in a growth as it just goes for Roost. I'm able to take it out on the next turn, but I have to deal with Pignite once again. Even with the attack boost from growth, Slam can't get the one-shot, as Flame Charge and the weather bring me to red HP. I can knock it out the next turn, and although gaining a level recovers some HP, the weather is just going to take it away. I can knock out his following Pansage with Slam, and his final Pokemon Liepard. Thank God this thing doesn't have Fake Out. I miss a Slam, but then I get my head on straight and go for a Overgrow boosted Vine Whip, one-shotting it. On Route 4, I'm going to pick up some optional battles because I'm approaching level 32 when Serperior can learn Leaf Blade, and once I get to Nimbasa City, it's going to get an even bigger moveset upgrade. I also still have the Amulet Coin as a held item so I can buy all of the TMs that I desire once I get to Nimbasa City. Although Serperior can't learn it, I'm still going to pick up the TM for Dig. It's just a quick way to get out of places like the Mistralton Cave or Challenger's Cave if I decide to go there later. I pick up the Hidden Rare Candy in the Desert Resort and then make my way to the Nimbasa Pokemon Center. I would have preferred to have 70,000 Pokédollars so that I could purchase Return, Reflect, and Light Screen, but for now I'm just going to go with Return and Reflect. I make sure to pick up the HM for Strength, and then I head to Anvil Town to pick up an extra rare candy. This is one I actually skipped in Embor's run because I completely forgot about it, and had I remembered, I probably could have saved some time in its run, especially in the post game. Before I can enter the Nimbasa the city gym, I have a battle against Natural Harmonia Gropius, or N as we know him. Return fails to get the one-shot on Darumaka, as Fire Punch does nearly half my health. I can knock it out the next turn, but now I have to deal with Sigilif. Return fails to get the one hit as Air Cutter brings me to 3 HP. And while I knock it out the next turn and his final Pokemon Scraggy comes out, I think that a Overgrow boosted Vine Whip will be enough, but it does barely half, and as a result, Scraggy is able to finish me. In the next battle, I go a bit of overkill. Since the Sandile can't do anything to me, I set up 4 growths. I could have probably gotten away with 2 or even 3, but better safe than sorry. And I'm able to one-shot his entire team with either Vine Whip or Return. At the end of the battle, I level up to 32, and I'm able to learn Leaf Blade, which I'll gladly delete Vine Whip for. Alright, Elisa's Electric Gym time. I wish I had more to say about this other than I really like the indoor roller coasters, but Serperior just has its way with her gym trainers. And that's even after getting paralyzed thanks to the first trainer's Emolga's static ability. And unfortunately, I don't have anything in my inventory that heals paralysis, so by the time I make it to Elisa, I actually have to leave the gym and go back to the Pokemon Center. It's a bit frustrating to go back and waste time just to heal, but it's going to give me the best chance to defeat her on my first try. Now that I'm all healed up, let's take on the Electric type Specialist. I start by setting up 2 growths on the first Emolga, as it hits me with 2 aerial aces, bringing me to half health. Return is able to get the one hit, but unfortunately I trigger its static ability. I get caught in Parahacks against the second Emolga, and it's able to chip me down to 7 HP, and last is Zebstrika, and it takes me out with a disrespectful quick attack. In the next battle, I get lucky, as the first Emolga goes for Pursuit and then aerial ace, and static doesn't trigger when I knock it out. Unfortunately, against the second Emolga, it does trigger when I knock it out, but at least I have 74 HP for Zebstrika now, and although it hits me with a super effective Flame Charge, Leaf Blade crits, one-shotting it. I play Dress Up and put a grass skirt on a grass Pokemon, and I just want to say that I love the nighttime aesthetic in these games. The drawbridge at night looks so cool. And I'm just going to jump back in time a bit in this video and show the Sky Arrow Bridge at night. I've just always liked the nighttime aesthetics in Pokemon games. Let me know which you prefer, day or night. I would have liked it if they did more than just put trucks driving on the road though. Maybe have some like bumper to bumper traffic every once in a while. Although seeing the boat pass underneath you is pretty cool. In Driftville City, we have to head to the cold storage, but first I'm gonna pick up a few items. Just to the right, you can get an ether, and further right in a patch of grass over is a protein. I'm going to skip past the cold storage Team Plasma plotline stuff and go straight to Clay's gym. In order to reach Clay, there are 3 mandatory trainers you have to battle, and by the time I defeat all 3 of them, I'm level 37, 1 level away from Coil, which will be my primary setup move until the post-game, although Growth, if needed, will serve as more than a good enough setup move for Clay. And sorry, Clay's not gonna get an intro in this video. Leaf Blade just decimates his team. Although Excadrill holds on from one and hits me with a very weak Bulldoze, Serperior has more than enough speed to still move first. I have a rival battle with Bianca as I try to exit town. The only thing noteworthy of this battle is I do level up to 38 and delete Growth for Coil. I make my way through Chargestone Cave, picking up both the Bright Powder and the Rare Candy. Battle against N at the end of the cave. His Ferroseed is very annoying because of its ability Iron Barbs. It's able to chip me down to nearly half health, but overall N is not a challenge. And with all that out of the way, we've arrived in Mistralton City. I'm gonna immediately head to Route 7 and the Celestial Tower. I avoid the trainers on this route because a lot of them partake in triple battles and rotational battles. There are also more than enough trainers for me to battle in the Celestial Tower and Skyla's gym. Once I climb this tower in the Undead Parish though... Oh wait, wrong game. Wrong bell tower. Anyway, I have to ring the bell and then Skyla heads back to her gym. If only something else happened at the top of the Celestial Tower. Oh well. There's a trainer in Skyla's gym that actually has me sweating in one battle, and almost makes me regret not picking up some optional battles within the Celestial Tower and Route 7, and that's Pilot Ted here. I enter this battle at nearly half health, and after Leaf Tornado fails to knock out Ducklet, its Air Slash brings me to 33 HP. I can knock it out the next turn, and his final Pokemon is a Sigilif. It hangs on from my return and retaliates with Air Slash, bringing me to 1 HP. It's a good thing it didn't crit and it doesn't have a priority move, and we can take it out. While the rest of her trainers don't pose any problems, even though they have a type advantage against us, I'm not sure how Skyla's going to go. It's a bit surprising that all of her Pokemon don't know acrobatics though, considering that's the TM she gives you. Also, why the hell would they give her Unpheasant Razor Wind? Acrobatics would be much better than that trash move. Let's see how Serperior does against the 6th gym leader. For lead is Swoobat, I start by setting up a coil as it just sets up Amnesia. Return is able to one-shot it, and then Unpheasant follows. Return takes it into the red as Air Slash does about a quarter of my HP. Because of this, I can set up a coil as she uses a Hyper Potion. My next return knocks it out and I level up and can learn Giga Drain, which I'm going to delete Leaf Tornado for. Her final Pokemon is Swanna, and while Leaf Blade probably would have one-shot this thing, 2 Giga Drains is more than enough to take it out. Although Serperior can't learn the TM for Acrobatics, it can learn the TM for Aerial Ace, which I pick up after defeating Skyla. Before I can enter Twist Mountain, I have a rival battle against Sharon. I'm not going to bother showing this one. Even though I enter the battle at half health, I defeat him pretty easily. After defeating him, Alder jumps down from the cliff and gives us the HM for Surf, and at this point I thought about doing some season manipulation because you can get an extra rare candy and the TM for Substitute in Twist Mountain, which I thought would come in handy for Pokemon like Chantel's Coffagrigus, Ghetsis' Coffagrigus, the rematch against Chantel's Coffagrigus. Sadly, I end up not using the TM, but I will point out when I go back and actually do it. Twist Mountain at wintertime is kinda cool. We can just fast forward to Iciris City and the Ice-type gym. Yet another gym that has a type advantage over Serperior. And although I've only done 2 full runs to this point, well, 3 if you count the practice run, Bryson has been a joke of a gym leader so far. He's really channeling his inner Price from Johto, and I expect things to continue that way for Serperior. His lead is Vanillish and he gets one-shot by Leaf Blade. He sends out Beartic next. While Leaf Blade does over half to it, it just hits me with Swagger. Thankfully, I don't hit myself on the next turn and knock it out. Last is Cryogonal. While I do hit myself in Confusion and it hits me with Aurora Beam, I'm only at half health, and I snap out of it and knock it out. I have to head to the Dragon Spiral Tower next, and I catch a Golett to be my strength user, and this thing was so damn annoying, it wouldn't just stay in the ball. I really thought this thing was going to knock Serperior out at some point. It did manage to get me to below half health. We have the back-to-back-to-back-to-back battle against the Plasma Grunts, but this time we're going to be seeing something new at the top of the tower. Since we're playing Pokemon Black, which I failed to mention at the beginning of the video, instead of seeing the Blue Eyes White Dragon, Reshiram, we're going to be seeing the Red Eyes Black Dragon, Zekrom. I hope you enjoyed my little Yu-Gi-Oh bit there. Thank you again, Serena, for the artwork. I'm going to have a link to their Ko-Fi in the description of this video. Check them out. Also, let me know in the comments who your favorite duel monster was, because Red Eyes definitely has a special place in my heart, and I may or may not be thinking about trying a challenge run in a game like Eternal Duelist Soul, Forbidden Memories, or Duelist of the Roses. Anyway, we have to chase Team Plasma to the Relic Castle, and then go to Nacrene City, where we get the Light Stone since we're playing Pokemon Black. And since we're in the area, I'm going to go ahead and head to Route 3 and pick up the rare candy since I have access to Surf now, along with backtracking to Route 2 for that rare candy, and then heading to Pinwheel Forest to get the extra rare candy, but also the TM for Solar Beam. I do backtrack to Mistralton City and buy the TM for Sunny Day, but unfortunately I don't end up using this combo. I have a rival battle against Bianca before entering Opalucid City, she's not a challenge, and now we can see some of the changes between White and Black with the city. I know I talked about them in my Samurott video and showed some photos, but seeing the actual gameplay, Opalucid City looks great, and after listening to the track that plays in white when you enter the city and the track that plays in black, I think I'm starting to slightly favor the music in Pokemon Black for the city. It kinda reminds me of something that you'd hear in a Sonic game. Also, the people on the street are different. Instead of the people who are playing the flute in Pokemon White, you've got people playing the electric guitar in Pokemon Black. Of course, another change that I previously mentioned in my Samurott video is that instead of facing off against Iris, you'll face her father, Drayden. Of course, with a new gym leader, we're going to get a new intro. He's not the only one getting a new intro in this playthrough. Let's see how Serperior does against the Dragon-type specialist. He has the exact same team as Iris, levels and all. After setting up a coil, I'm able to one-shot Fracture with Return, and out comes Druddigon. This thing is able to deal the most damage to me not with its Night Slash attack, but with its Rough Skin ability. Because Return can't get the one-shot and I'm caught in a healing loop, it's chipping me down every turn, although I do go for Mega Drain on one turn just to heal back a little bit of HP. Last is Haxorus. I set up a coil just to make sure I get one-shot range as it misses a Dragon Tail, and Return does one-shot. Alright, I'm gonna try and cover all of the pre-league errands as quickly as possible. I get the TM for Protect from Professor Juniper, I head to Route 17 and get the HM for Waterfall, I head east of Nimbasa City to Route 16 to pick up the rare candy there, along with the rare candy in Lostlorn Forest since I have Waterfall. The last errand is heading back to Twist Mountain during the winter time. There's also an extra rare candy you can get in the winter time, but I didn't look up where it was, and I don't think Serperior needs it. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me in the post-game or even before N and Ghetsis. But in the wintertime, you just take this path, battle this one trainer, and you can get the TM for Substitute. Before entering Victory Road, I do have a rival battle against Charon. Like majority of the battles, he's not a challenge, which is a bit unfortunate. Maybe in a video one of these days, I'll show off the battle against him when you can take on the league rematches. In Victory Road, I'm gonna pick up an extra rare candy. It's pretty close to the entrance and not really out of the way, you just need Surf to get it. And although this is my 4th run in these games, I still sometimes get lost in Victory Road. And I lost my way a little bit with Serperior in this run, just going in a wrong entrance, but I was fortunately able to get back on track quickly. Before Serperior takes on the league though, I do backtrack to the Mistralton Cave for a rare candy that I forgot about in Cabalion's Chamber. What made me realize that I forgot this was that Terrakian's Chamber in Victory Road was blocked off. You have to battle against Cabalion, either knocking it out or capturing it in order for Terrakion and Verizion's chambers to open up. Verizion's is located in Pinwheel Forest. I do sweat a little bit in this battle because Cabalion's able to bring me to 34 HP, but Serperior gets the win, and with that out of the way, now we're ready for the league. Up first is Marshall, and there's not a lot to say about this one. I've taught Aerial Ace for the battle, and I set up twice on throw and then go for the sweep. Even though throw hits me with 2 bulldozes, I'm still able to outspeed his entire team with the exception of Mienshao. And I even played it a little bit safe here, going for Giga Drain on Sawk after I trigger its sturdy ability, but there's really no threat of ever losing to Marshall, and we can just move on. Which brings us to our second battle against Grimsley, and again, this is one where we're never in any danger of losing. Scrafty for some reason, after going for an opening poison jab, decides to just switch to Sand Attack, and I take advantage of that, setting up with coils, and then sweeping with Aerial Ace. Or perhaps I should say nearly sweeping, since Crocodile takes 2 hits. And this can bring us to our third battle against Elite Four trainer Caitlyn. Now what I should have did is set up 2 coils on Reuniqueless and then swept, but I only set up 1 and then knock it out with Leaf Blade. Out comes Sigilif. We know how this thing is and not going down in one return, which it does here, and Air Slash does 80 HP to me. I can set up another coil because of her using a full restore, and my next return will knock it out. And at +2 attack and being on the verge of overgrow range, Gothitelle and Musharna stand no chance. And that brings us to our final battle against Ghost Trainer Chantel, who in my opinion is the toughest of the league members. I made sure to reteach Aerial Ace for this battle because it's going to be the best move I have for her Ace Chandelure. I also make sure not to use a contact move against Cofagrigus and knock it out with 2 Giga Drains. While learning Leaf Storm was tempting, I opt not to and keep the recovery move. She sends out her Ace Chandelure next. Aerial Ace can't get the one-shot, and its flame body burns me. It then knocks me out with Fire Blast, giving Serperior a reset. I take another quick reset after Cofagrigus opens the battle with Will-O-Wisp, and I decide to change up my moveset from here, going with Aerial Ace, Coil, Leaf Blade, and Rest, and holding a Cherry Berry. After 3 turns of setup, I go for Rest, waking up automatically thanks to my berry, and then I'm able to sweep through her entire team. And this was just a dominant performance by Serperior. It didn't struggle at all. And I hope that this dominance continues against N and Ghetsis, and a big reason why I decided to go with Pokemon Black over White for this playthrough, because in White, N would have Reshiram on his team, which I think would probably wall Serperior. But in Black, he'll have Zekrom, a much easier option for Serperior considering that it's part electric type. We also get a different cutscene in his throne room as Zekrom just plows through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man. Personally, I like Reshiram's cutscene more. I think the flames just fit better than the lightning. Of course, we still get a Reshiram cutscene because our Lightstone activates to Zekrom coming through the throne room, and through the fire and flames, our Blue Eyes White Dragon carries on. Of course, we still have to capture it, so I just throw my Master Ball at it, but now it's time to battle N, and with a new party comes a new intro. I'm going to take my time setting up to +6 against Zekrom, as it can't do much damage to me with Fusion Bolt or Giga Impact. While it does set up a light screen, I don't plan on attacking with any special moves. And once I'm set up, I'm able to sweep through his entire team until I get to Caracosta. As you know, this thing has the annoying ability Sturdy, so Leaf Blade won't one-shot it, but its Stone Edge crits, knocking me out. And I couldn't believe it. Although Stone Edge does have a increased chance of critical hitting, I didn't want to take any chances for the second battle, and considering I have to take on Ghetsis next, I popped 7 rare candies, set up 6 coils, and this time I don't get knocked out. No intro for Ghetsis this time around, and you'll see why. I used the same strategy against him that I did against Chantel. His Cofagrigus opens with Toxic, but I can set up 4 coils before I have to go for Rest, and at +4 attack and full health, Serperior can cap off a dominant run with a sweep. It completes its round 1 playthrough with a real time of 3 hours, 23 minutes, and 24 seconds at level 71 with an in-game time of 6 hours and 48 minutes. 14 minutes faster than Emboar and 15 minutes faster than Samurott. I had mentioned earlier in the video that Serperior is going to get a huge moveset upgrade in the post-game, and that starts with replacing Coil. So I'm going to go to the Dream Yard and pick up the TM for Swords Dance. Originally, I also had Relic Castle and the TM for Calm Mind routed in my post-game, but I don't need Calm Mind for Serperior. I would mainly want Calm Mind for the fact that it can boost my special defense, but I can use the TM for Light Screen for that. But after we find this sage hiding out, and he goes on some little rant and gives us the TM for Swords Dance, I'm going to show you a new area in Pokemon Black. Welcome to Black City, exclusive to Pokemon Black. I've never shown off White Forest in Pokemon White, so here's a flashback to the Samurott video of that section. As far as the purpose of these areas, here's a screenshot from Bulbapedia explaining it all. When I played these games back in the day, I never spent much time in these areas, although in White Forest, I did catch some of the wild Pokemon available, like Togepi for example. But let's get back to the post-game. On Route 14, I'm gonna visit the Abundant Shrine for an extra rare candy and to battle some extra trainers. I've also been battling any trainer I come across on both with Route 14 and 15, and it seems like all 3 starters have had a trainer that's given them problems in the postgame. Well, for Serperior, it's Ace Trainer Kip here. You see, his Absol knows Perish Song, which it goes for right away after I set up a Swords Dance, and while I'm able to knock out the Absol and the Wall Rain that follows, his final Pokemon is a Dodrio. If I had Return on my moveset, I might have been able to knock it out in one hit, but Aerial Ace doesn't get that range, and Perish Song takes me out. Because I haven't saved since I started the postgame, I decide to black out, but we have a problem. The Dodrio goes for Thrash, and in this case I get unlucky because it's a 2-turn Thrash, although in Gen 2 onwards they decreased it from lasting 3 to 4 turns to 2 to 3. And while I'm trying to get my HM users knocked out by this thing, the Dodrio ends up knocking itself out due to confusion. That's extremely frustrating and reminded me of something that happened in one of Scott's Thoughts streams recently. His Rattata was knocked out by a trainer in Blaine's gym, and as he's trying to black out, he ends up knocking out the Rapidash with his Vaporeon because it just refuses to attack. I definitely felt the pain there, and at the time I'm recording this voiceover, the highlight video for that stream isn't out yet, but if you want to check out the live stream, go to the 54-minute mark. With that painful moment out of the way, I continue battling trainers on Route 14 until I reach Undella Town. Normally I would hold off on battling Cynthia, but I feel like Serperior can get it done on its first try. And sorry for spoiling it so early, but it nearly does. Since the Spiritomb is only going to spam double team on me, I can freely set up to +6 with Swords Dance. Unfortunately, Aerial Ace doesn't get the one-shot as you just saw there, and when the Braviary comes out, I go for Aerial Ace, missing the one-shot, and Brave Bird one-shots me. But in the next battle I correct this mistake, and Leaf Blade is able to get the one-shot even though it's not very effective, and Leaf Blade can sweep through her entire team from here. Aside from battling the trainers on routes 13, 12, and 11, I do pick up the leftovers here on Village Bridge, and really that's the only other relevant thing I want to talk about before the league rematches. First up is Marshall, and it's very similar to his round 1 battle. Sawk is the only Pokemon able to deal any damage to Serperior thanks to Sturdy, but on turns he uses a full restore, I can just set up Swords Dance to guarantee the one-shots on the rest of his team. Next up is Grimsley, and just like Marshall, I'm going to set up Swords Dance on the first Pokemon and sweep through his entire team. Serperior looks like it's just going to cruise through the league again. But next up is Psychic Trainer Caitlyn, and I've spoken a little too soon on this one. Because it's set up a Reflect, I try to squeeze in another Swords Dance, and it's able to put me to sleep with Hypnosis. Serperior stays asleep, and 3 Dream Eaters knock me out. An unfortunate first reset in the league. I try again with the Bright Powder equipped, and although Musharna still hits me with a Hypnosis, it misses one of its 2 Dream Eaters. Once I wake up, I can knock it out with Leaf Blade and the following Sigilif with Return, but then comes her ace Metagross. My Leaf Blade does less than half to it, as its Zen Headbutt brings me under half health. I go for another Leaf Blade and fail to knock it out, and Giga Impact knocks me out. I make it back to her ace with full health in the next battle thanks to a Hypnosis miss. I'm going to set up Swords Dance, and I'm at +4 thanks to setting one up on Musharna. Leaf Blade still doesn't get the one-shot, and the combination of Zen Headbutt and Giga Impact bring me to 76 HP. But luckily for me, I didn't bring Metagross into red health, so she's not going to use a full restore and I can knock it out. And her remaining Reuniqueless, Bronzong, and Gothitelle are all one-shot by Leaf Blade. Last is Ghost Trainer Chantel, and I'm going to set up the old Resto Chesto strat. Since Cofagrigus is going to open up with Will-O-Wisp, I'm going to set up 3 Swords Dance and then go for Rest. Luckily I'm able to squeeze them all in with only 29 HP remaining, and I've also retaught Aerial Ace because Return isn't going to do anything in this battle. And just like the other league members, she's a sweep once I'm set up. This has been a dominant performance by Serperior, and makes me a little excited to try some future grass Pokemon in these games. Maybe even run the older starters through them. Before taking on Alder, I'm going to make 2 moveset changes, deleting Leaf Blade for Light Screen and Aerial Ace for Return. Return will give me neutral coverage on all but one of his Pokemon, where Leaf Blade is resisted by 4 of his Pokemon. Also, Light Screen will help mitigate the damage from his opening Excelgor, and hopefully it lasts long enough to help lessen the damage from his ace Volcarona. I'm also going to put on a Cherry Berry before the battle, just in case I need to heal up. Let's see how Serperior does in the final battle of the run. Opening the battle against Excelgor, I go for Light Screen to lessen the damage from Bug Buzz, which after 2 of them, I'm at below half health. I set up Sword Stance as I get into the red from a 3rd Bug Buzz. I'm at +4 and I think I can sweep his team from here, so I go for Rest to heal up to full as it misses Focus Miss. Serperior then begins its sweep as it one-shots Excelgor, Volcarona, Bouffalat, and Vanillux. As Cavalier follows, and it's probably his most dangerous Pokemon, Return can't get the one-shot as X-Scissor does well over half to me, and had it crit, probably would have one-shot Serperior, but I can clean it up on the next turn, and his final Pokemon is Druddigon, which gets one-shot by Return. Serperior finishes the post-game with a real time of 51 minutes and 21 seconds at level 89 with an in-game time of 8 hours and 30 minutes. Here's a breakdown of how each starter performed in each of their runs. I will admit that I played Samurott first, Emboar second, and Serperior last. Originally I didn't plan on doing the other 2 starters right away, but I thought it would make for good content and comparisons. I honestly thought that Samurott would perform the best, and I'm not just being biased because it's my favorite of the 3, and I thought the other 2 would be a toss-up. But I was completely wrong. Serperior is great. Although Samurott and Emboar had a close battle for 2nd place in round 1, when it came to the postgame, Samurott just blew Emboar out of the water, pun intended. Although there are a lot of questions as to why. Is it the bad base speed? Is it the fighting type? Is it the fire type? Why it just didn't perform well in the postgame? Who knows? But there's plenty more runs to do to figure out why. And as for the next run, as I said in the beginning of this series, I want to play through with Pokemon that I did in my very first playthrough of Black and White. So let's see how a slow level up group Pokemon does. In the next run, I'll be beating the game with a Haxorus, and I expect this thing to set a new bar when I run it. I've rambled for long enough at the end of this video though. I'm not sure what I'm gonna put out for my next one, but I'm doing well with keeping up with the bi-weekly releases. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, everybody.